Hi everyone, I'm Aurora Newton,
And I'm Angie Bailey.
and this is Ask the A-Team. So today we're going to talk about the end suddenlies that really aren't so sudden. There are things that you have a call in your life, like a long time ago, you had this vision, this dream, a word, something, anything, all of those. That told you were going to be doing something, or that this is the path that your life would take, maybe just a stirring, or the way you went to school, just so many things that it could be. But there's been years and years and years and years and years of you learning, growing, building into those things, and maybe not even realizing that all of that journey was playing up to this moment that now seems like and suddenly.
I recently had one of those moments in my life. When I went to Bible college, I actually majored in missions, and I thought that at the time for the rest of my life that I would be in the foreign mission field. It was like pretty sure I was going to be a martyr. Like I had all these things.
Never know, your life's not over yet.
You
No,
never know.
you better not.
Yeah,
Not until I'm
it's
gone
fine.
anyway.
It's
I want to beat you there. No. That's a race I want to win. Just kidding, guys.
Wow. but I took all the extra classes for missions. I got my teaching English as a second language certificate while I was there, and so it was just something that I thought was going to be right away. And to go to the nations, and I'd always kind of even before Jesus, I always had that. What everybody calls it, like the wanderlust in you.
Yeah.
The wanting to just go everywhere. There really isn't anywhere that I don't want to go.
Right. And that you wouldn't love if you went there.
Absolutely.
I
love
share that
immersing into different cultures, and I really feel like there's a grace on my life for that sort of thing, because even though like stateside I can be high maintenance. Let's just say it. But over there it's like everything is just
one part.
Just simplified.
Yeah.
And so so I've been waiting for a long time, and I do know, regardless of where you are, that you're on the mission field, and I know God's called us to Dayton, and that sort of thing. So like I've been okay with that, but it's like, okay, well, what was all that for? What was all that? And then this past week, two separate conversations with two people that had not spoken to one another about it. All of a sudden, like, you guys, my passport is so expired. It's so expired, right? Like, I just haven't used it been anywhere that I've had to use it. And in fact, the picture on it is when I was in Bible college and I went to China the first time. Like, that's what it is. That is what it's from. And, I had a talk with my boss and invited me into, hey, you have your passport? Well, no, it needs, I need to renew it. You need to go do that because you're going to be going, to another country. And then within 45 minutes, I got a text from another staff pastor at our church, and said, hey, I need to talk to you about something, And I go down to his office to talk to him, and he hands me this packet of going to Africa, going to Kenya. And I was like, I really wanted to go on that trip. I just didn't know. He was like, I really felt like I was supposed to ask you, and, I want you to go and teach at a Bible college with me while we're there. And I was like, yes. And I literally walked out of that, and I had to go call my husband. I'm like, Jason, within 45 minutes of each other, this thing that I thought that was just going to be put on a shelf, for, gosh, I'm trying to remember the last time I was out of the country was 2002.
Wow.
16 years, and well, I mean, I went to the Caribbean, but that doesn't really count, and that was before you had to have your, but the last time that I was on the mission field, that I was doing something, sharing the gospel somewhere else other than, the soil that I was born on, 16 years, and within 45 minutes. And I just want to encourage all of you with those things in your life, whether it's traveling, doing missions, whatever it may be in your life, those things that you feel like were put on the shelf, and like, when is that really going to happen? And oh, well, it's been so long, maybe that wasn't even a real thing, you know? Maybe that's not what I was supposed to be doing anyway.
Maybe it was for somebody else.
Yeah.
I know that I get that, a lot. Like,
Yeah.
well, maybe I wasn't even supposed to do that. Maybe that was for my kids or my grandkids, the next generation.
Right. Listen, time with God I think he just laughs at us sometimes. Like, you
Eternal,
guys,
yep.
like 16 years, that's nothing. That's like 2 seconds up here.
41 years, that's nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's nothing in his timeline. And just prepare yourself for those suddenlies. In fact, I just want to release that right now to all of
Come
you
on, I received
for those
that.
suddenlies to start happening. And let us know what they are. Mark them down in your mind right now.
Journal them.
Like,
yeah.
think about, what is that thing that you put on the shelf? What is that thing that you know that God has for you in your life, or at least knew at one time you were so sure of, and that you've just kind of put it on the shelf? Expect that to happen. Expect that to happen suddenly.
And you know what? Talking about the shelf, I just keeps coming back, so I have to say this, Ange.
Mhm.
I keep thinking of things that we put on the shelf and what happens to them when we don't take them down, when we
They
don't
get
look at
dusty.
them. They get dusty.
Mhm.
They get old and
Mhm.
decrepit. And so it's so important that you take those things down, dust them off every now and then, pray into them,
Yeah,
remember
absolutely.
the promises over your life.
Absolutely.
Recently, I was reminded by Matt, my son, my wisdom sons. They're always dropping bombs for me. It's good, but he reminded me of some of the testimonies that are in my book,
Mm.
and suggested that I revisit my book because there are some suddenlies that could happen that I have been waiting for years and years,
Right.
and then maybe I need to dust off that book and
Absolutely.
reread it myself.
Well, there's a reason why, Revelation tells us that we're overcomers by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our
of
testimony. Sometimes that testimony, your testimony, you need to share it with yourself. You need to reshare
Right.
it, revisit all those things that God has moved in your life.
Right.
And especially when you come to those places where you feel like it's not happening right now, or you feel really, like in a low place, in a very dark place, revisit those times when you've been there before and He has come through.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good, so
Yeah.
good. So pay attention to the end suddenlies,
Yes.
but also remember that you have sown a lot of things. You have walked a long path, and you have gone through a lot to get to that end suddenly moment. Embrace it.
Yes, absolutely. Enjoy every moment
Every
of it.
moment of it.
Yes. Well, if this has helped you in any way, or can help anyone that you know or love take something off the shelf, please like or share. And don't forget to follow ASCA Team.
Bye, guys.
It's coming, guys. Suddenly.